Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. Hello, this is Dawn Melanie. First and foremost, I thank you for taking the time to join me to listen to another installment of my series entitled Managing Self. If you didn't know, I'll simply be sharing some of my experiences that I consider key to my managing myself. Specifically, managing my multiple sclerosis. I want to be happy, so I choose to be happy, even in the most difficult situations. I choose to be happy. I'm not a physician, but I have been managing my multiple sclerosis for almost 20 years, and I'd say rather successfully. In my opinion, I'd say rather successfully managing it, and I absolutely attest, or some people may say swear, but I'll just say I absolutely attest, very emphatically attest that, as far as I'm concerned, healthy and happy are synonymous. The verdict is still out about the onset of my MS symptoms, which first occurred almost 2 decades ago. But I do know that each of my exacerbations, my experiences with a flare-up has been preceded by a stressful life event. And right now, this very moment as I'm speaking, I'm actually going through and trying my absolute damnedest to be happy. Although my physiological response wants to engage in a deluge of tears, of tear flow, what may call it, or some may call it crying, but I know that they say the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak, but I know that the mind can be strong, and just like physical exercise in our body, I know that if we don't use it, we'll lose it. Don't use our muscles, atrophy sets in, weakness occurs, and the muscle mass decreases, etc., etc. I believe the same thing happens with the mind. If we fail to use our minds to overcome weaknesses, we'll become weak-minded, and things will take over where we should have control over that. So, that's my point of view. But today, like every day, I choose what and how I promote my happiness, and furthermore, every day I encourage others to do the same for themselves, to promote their happiness. I know that each of us is unique, as our versions of multiple sclerosis is unique to each of us. And in case you haven't realized or seen it, I wear my smile as a reminder, sometimes as a shield against the cruelty encountered in this world. I'm sure some of you are questioning, is my smile, my happy-go-lucky positive attitude, fake? Maybe a little bit overzealous, perhaps? Yes and no. One of my favorite retorts to someone, or something of that nature, somewhat of a subjective question, is yes and no. And I am that happy. Almost 20 years battling MS. Someone say, is she still smiling, looking happy, never displaying a seemingly challenged persona? Yes and no. It has been genuine. It has been sincere. And yes, I've managed to smile through the tough times as well. Why? Because of the benefits. I know most are invisible. And if you have MS, or perhaps know someone close to you with the disease, you understand the impact of invisible elements or symptoms that I myself experience. Fatigue. You really can't see that. But I know I sometimes feel, I find it difficult to deal with, to even understand, let alone share the somewhat cloaked nature of this chronic debilitating disease. But nonetheless, I smile. I smile every day. And scientifically, it's been proven to use less muscles to smile than it is to frown. So, I know, you may know, that none of us with MS, we don't have a unlimited supply of energy. There's no surplus by any means. We have to conserve our so-called spoons, where others may go through theirs as careless and thought-free, as using disposable plastic cutlery at the family picnic. Just kind of use it, toss it. Who cares? But the physiological effects of smiling, they are absolutely real. Smiling reduces stress. Smiling puts you into a better mood. Smiling also increases productivity level. Smiling also encourages trust with the recipient of your smile. Smiling also lowers heart rate. And one of my favorite benefits of smiling is, and this one's totally related to this show, Managing Self, is smiling has been proven to boost the immune system. No, it's not a pharmaceutical drug, nor is it even classified as an endorphin, delivering an endorphic rush or excitement or satisfaction through the central nervous system, but smiles do help the body to relax. And in turn, this lets the immune system be able to react more quickly and effectively against invaders. It's Shakespeare who wrote, "All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. They have their exit and their entrances, and one man in his time has many parts." Some of these parts are played as you like it. By the way, that's the title of the play, Shakespeare's play, As You Like It. Other parts, well, despite attempted orchestration and or manipulation, not so much played as you may like it. They may be actually unfavorable to your liking. Like multiple sclerosis, I simply play with the cards which I have been dealt. I play my part. I play my part well. I manage it. I manage my MS well. And I can't speak for you. Again, I'm speaking from my point of view, but my results have never been 100% of what I absolutely wanted. Not 100%. Not just with MS, but in life. And although I've been unjustly accused or judged that, quote unquote, everything goes my way, like I wanted to be stricken with a chronic illness at age 25, not. Anyway, that brings me to an important word. You may want to keep this in the back of your mind as well. The word's chronic. Means relating to an illness or a medical condition that is characterized by long duration or frequent reoccurrence. Just keep that word and definition in mind as we proceed. I've come to know this word far too well, especially in the past few months, dealing with various people, not just foes, but friends too, actually loved ones, the closest ones. People often heard the expression, or well, I have, keep your friends close, your enemies closer. But nowhere does it mention the recommended distance for which we should let our guards down with the ones we love the most. Of course, I'm speaking because, my feelings got hurt. There, I said it. My feelings got hurt, but I refuse to embrace any grudges and bitterness revolving in the circumstances. When someone you care about hurts you, you can hold on to the anger. Result may be resentment and or thoughts of revenge, or you can choose to embrace forgiveness and move forward. I choose the latter. I choose my happiness. I was happy before any injustice was done to me, and I will not change. I will not be a puppet on a string, dancing to a drum or a piano whose music is generated from a scroll sheet of music on a wheel spinning. Seriously, who has not been hurt by the actions or words of another? And I'm sure you all have been on both sides of the coin. But unless you have a genuine conscience, being the offender doesn't hurt our spirits like it does that of the offender, or pardon me, that of the offendee, the person being offended. My humble opinion again, but I know that when I do something over and over again, I do it because I want that. I choose to do that over and over again. I exercise my free will. I'm sure many of you have seen my pictures somewhere, usually of my food, of me cooking, me eating, unapologetically. Some are even some model shoots, pictures of competitions, things like that, in a bikini, what have you. Again, all of my pictures are taken unapologetically. That's me. I'm having fun and enjoying myself and expressing myself, and hopefully encouraging others to do the same. Doing what some people say you can't do, or just being free with yourself and honest, and doing something that you enjoy to mitigate like I said, the seriousness of the world, and not take things so seriously, but to enjoy life. Now, some of my social media acquaintances playfully request some of my cooked products. Hey, when are you going to make me dinner? But, well, it's pretty clear who receives my culinary creations. And other things as well. Just to see a picture doesn't mean you're going to get it. And for this, I specifically need my love. The ones I care about most, the ones that I love, they will receive those special 12 course meals that I do prepare and I post. Those absolutely get my full attention. They get me. They don't get a picture. They actually get me, my love, and all that comes with it. But these people are in my corner, and that's why they do. But I have a PSA for you guys. Be careful before letting all of your guards down at any given time. We know that when someone with MS is going through an exacerbation, I don't care how good we look, you can get hurt, and our emotional hurt can be far greater than someone who is not experiencing the same chronic condition, multiple sclerosis, which we know stress and MS do not mix, worse than oil and water. So be careful on when you let your guards down and with whom. I'm human, and I have let my guards down a couple times prematurely. I often say without performing my due diligence, but it's life, and I have learned, and I'm still learning how to forgive. But realistically, there's no purge button to my brain. Even with the holes in it, the MS scars. They said remember the Maine. Well, gosh, I went to Maine over 25 years ago. I still remember Maine. How about that? So I'm just saying that there's no purge button. I do understand forgiveness, but again, remembering that unfortunately some people with MS have really bad memories, but unfortunately I have a really good memory. So, I'm working on it every day to not think about it so much. Especially because another PSA, again, don't let yourself fall victim of resentment again. Resentment, remember the strong, painful bitterness you may feel when someone does something wrong to you. It doesn't have actual physical weight, but it feels like it feels very heavy, and it can last a long time. So, to avoid this or mitigate it, I do recommend practicing forgiveness, and it's going to take some work on your part, but it'll be better for yourself. I know it's been good for me, because one thing, like I said, I want to be happy because I don't want to be stressed out. I want to enjoy life and not have any bitterness towards anyone, particularly the ones that I do love. So learn to forgive if you are in a situation similar to what I'm alluding to. And I know that, we can't change the past, but we can change the future. And both parties on both sides of the coin, the person who is offended and the person who has committed the offense, if change occurs on both sides, we can move on. So again, if the person's changing the behavior, recognize that and move forward in a positive fashion. But like I said, in hopes of it will change the future, and hopefully for a better future. Keep in mind that forgiveness is not a single isolated act. Forgiveness is a process. The process of forgiveness is not for the benefit of the offender alone. It's also benefit of the offendee. Because letting go of grudges and bitterness can actually make way for improved health and peace of mind for the offended party. Improved health, which is good, and peace of mind inevitably is going to lead to a less stress, a life with less stress-less existence. Not stress-free, but stress-less. Forgiveness can lead to healthier relationships, improved health. You don't have any crazy angry thoughts just blocking your head. Also, one will experience less anxiety, hostility, and a very real physiological benefit, a lower blood pressure. Also, one will experience less symptoms of depression and improved heart health and a stronger immune system. So, we get angry, we get stressed out. We know that that's going to probably weaken our immune system. But if we learn to forgive and let that go, the result will be us having a stronger immune system. So, like I said, I'm learning this more and more each day. And like I said, I want to be healthy and happy. And forgiveness is the way to go. And it's funny, forgiveness also improves your self-esteem. Helps you be a bigger person than maybe you were before. To put aside your silly little, like I said, grudges or what have you, or opinions. And the more I talk about it, you may have detected it, but I know the more I read, I was doing some research on smiling and forgiving, and I noticed that the list of benefits received from smiling are very, very similar to the benefits that one receives when they forgive. And so I came up with my own conclusion that smiling and forgiveness, they actually go hand in hand, both producing empathy, the ability for us to understand the other side, to understand people. Sometimes we talk to people, but we don't really get them or understand their point of view. So, smiling, it establishes a trust. We have to let our guards down some, but the trust is established, and we can move on from there and not have a hostile discussion. And like I said, hopefully move on, and any pain that may have existed can be mitigated. Perhaps ultimately even annihilated, just totally gone. It's going to take time, but I know that. But these are, like I said, it's a process. So I smile every day, and forgiveness, I'm learning, it's an everyday process that I have to engage in if it's going to be successful. One good point is that I've noticed that smiling is actually contagious, not like the measles or chickenpox, but it's been proven that about 50% of people smile back. And this spreads the health benefits around those around you. You smile back, you get it back. It comes back to you several times as well. So smiling is quote unquote contagious. Forgiveness is like my super pill. Some people take super antioxidants and things like that. That's how I look at my forgiveness. I look at my the act of my, or the process of me forgiving is kind of like a super pill, and I take it with I don't know, my cocktails with a smile. That's a daily dose. But I say that because it kind of explains me in a nutshell. I've never said, "Oh, MS, why me? Woe is me." Instead of I've always, or frequently do I say, "Man, I'm glad I have MS." Now, surely that's tongue in cheek. However, I do mean that because I look at the good that's come along with my diagnosis and with my continued battle in almost 20 years now. I know me. I know what I'm made of. And I know that I'm a rather tough cookie. And yeah, MS, my daily battle with MS has pretty much just put a little bite in my cookie. So, like I said, I'm a tough cookie, and I'm not likely to crumble under pressure. Again, this is Dawn Melanie, and I thank you for listening to this week's broadcast of Managing Self. I want to conclude this week's episode with a couple of quotes. The first from the dear Mother Teresa, a Roman Catholic nun and missionary. She said, "Let us always meet each other with a smile, for the smile is the beginning of love." The second quote is from Thomas Paine, who is an English-born American political activist, a philosopher. He was actually one of the founding fathers of the United States. He authored one of the most influential pamphlets at the start of the American Revolution, titled Common Sense, and it's the first pamphlet, to advocate American independence. Thomas Paine said, "The real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection." You may ask, why these two quotes? I want to close on these two quotes. I always challenge you guys to think about something as a takeaway from listening to the episodes. But with these two quotes, I chose them because I know from my experiences, no matter the good intentions one has, the good intentions displayed by putting your best foot forward, a receipt of good things in return is not promised, and it's never guaranteed. That is, nothing is promised by a person. We're all actors. Some are better than others, of course, but we're all actors. So sometimes performances are not really cute. I remember I told you to remember that word chronic, the recurring conditions of things like that, relating to an illness. I want you to kind of take that in, because I look at chronic, I guess, recurring, like with MS. We have MS. I have relapse and remitting. Some days are good, some days are bad. And every day is different. But that's a chronic condition, whereas an acute condition is, just one incident or instance. I just want to play on the words because I think, those actors with the really, really, really good performances in life, I think those are chronic, or I look at those as similar as a chronic condition, not an acute condition. Their long enduring performances last 3 months or longer, like MS. It's unpredictable. MS is an unpredictable, debilitating disease with symptoms oftentimes invisible as far as any outward appearance is considered. Unfortunately, the damage with actors in situations where actors in life, the damage is just as destroying when it materializes. People who act in life, and I'm not saying a smile, even though you may not feel your best, you may smile to, like I said, it makes you feel better. But I mean, doing things that really are acting, where it's really not you at all, that damage that can be done is real when it materializes. And for me, I know it's been I know that my relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis for over 19 years, it has been, and it continues to be, any relapses are pretty much related to stress, and also it leads to my loss of senses, whether it be vision, hearing, touch, feeling, physical and emotional feeling. Again, to anybody out there, whether you are or know somebody who are such actors in the world, just like MS, often being an actor, tell me that I'm blind when I'm not, or tell me that I'm deaf when I'm not. Again, I'm kind of cynical, tongue-in-cheek often when I talk about MS and how it fooled me. I say, congratulations, MS, you're a really good actor. But anybody out there who is an actor in life and or dealing with somebody who has acted or pretended to be something they are not, for those individuals, I simply request that you take a bow. Job well done, but as MS warriors, we'll overcome that. Again, this is Dawn Melanie. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed week, and hopefully you'll join me next week. Thank you again.